Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel Web Tutorials, thoughts of this side. Guys, today we are going to discuss about the clip path property, the CSS clip path property. So basically, guys, the clip path property is always related to SVG, as you would have heard the name SVG, which is used for designing really cool stuffs in HTML and CSS. But today we are going to use the clip path property to create some really cool UI animation and effects with basic CSS and HTML file. So I guess let's get started, guys. So guys, today we are going to design this really cool looking UI design in which we have set this letter I to look like a button, but it is actually not, because when you hover over it, it shows us the full content. And guys, we have used the Clippy path property to make it look like a circle, and the animation also is followed from the same point. So I guess let's move on to the coding part, guys. So guys, for the HTML section we have set the template, and now we'll set the body part. So for that we'll give a div here, and we'll use the container class, and under that we want to give the content as well. So for that, it's not working. Yeah, so now I want the I letter. So for that I'll use the span attribute over here and just the word letter I. Under that I want the h1 to say hey, and secondly I want the paragraph thing. So in that paragraph I want to write this tutorial is made to make you understand how the clip path property works. So yeah, here we go. This is it that we want in the HTML section. Now moving on to the CSS section. So guys, now it's time to style our web page. So for that, let's style our body first. So for that, first of all we need the background to be a lighter version of dark color. So for that we use this hash codes, and the next thing we need is the margin to be set to 0, and the next thing we want is the height to be 100 viewing height, that is to capture the entire screen height. And we want to display our content as grid, and we want all the items to be aligned in the center of the screen. So for that we write the justify content property, and we write the center attribute to it, and then the align item, of course, and that also needs to be at the center. And lastly, in the body section we need the font family to be set as Nunito, and I want it to be sans serif. Yeah, so I guess that's pretty cool. Now let's see how it went. So yeah, this is it. This is our work till now. Let's style it a bit more. So for that, let's go back to CSS and let's style our content now. So for that, write down your content class, and then we want to give it a background of a little bluish and greenish color. So for that background we'll use the RGB attribute, and in that we'll use the R to be 9, green to be 201, just remember that whenever you use these numbers, these numbers should be below 255, because the computer doesn't accept number values of colors more than 255. So yeah, let's continue, and the blue to be 153. So yeah, we have got our color. And secondly, I would love to give it a padding of 1 em, because that would separate things from the border and all. And I would give it a radius of let's say 10 pixel. That would do. And refresh it. Yeah, it looks a bit cooler now. And let's give it a width of, let's just say 250 pixel. Yeah, now see it. Yeah, this is what I wanted. So next thing, that is the main thing, the clip path property we are going to use. So for using the clip path property, just write clip path. Okay, clip path. And to use it, first of all we need to set what shape we actually want. So here I want the circle shape I want, and so for that we will just write the shape name, and then we need to set what part exactly do we need to see, or we want to set, so that we can see what exact part of the content we want to be available on the web page. So let's just say we want the 10% of the content part to be available, and we can also set at what portion, at what x and y axis we want it. So for that, let's just say 50% of the x axis and 20% of the y axis. So if you just save it now and refresh it, yeah, this is it. This is the portion of the content we are able to see, and this is exactly at the 50% of the x-axis and 20% of the y-axis. Let's just go back to our text editor and style our content a little bit more. So we'll use some animation in it. So for that, as always, use the transition property, and we want the animation to take effect for all of the content. So we'll write all, and we want the duration to be 0.5 second, and we want the animation to be ease in out. Yeah, that's it. And when we hover over it, we want the cursor to be pointer. That's it. So let's see, if we hover over it, the cursor turns to be pointer. Yeah, now let's do what it will do when we hover over the content part. So for that, we'll use the hover class, and we'll use the clip path property again, so that our content is visible to us. So for that, just write down the clip path property and use it again. Use the circle shape again. So circle, and how much part do we want to make it visible? So we want to make it visible to the full. So for that, let's just say 100%, and when you hover over it, okay, let's just refresh it, and when you hover over it, it will show you the all 100% that you have already designed. So that's pretty cool thing. Without JavaScript you can do this, so it's a major thing if you ask me. And secondly, we want the background to change. So for that, when we hover over the clip path, we want the background to change into the color crimson. So let's see it again. When we hover, the color changes to crimson. Next part that we want is the color to change to white. Okay, let's just say the color always stays to white. So for that, we'll use h1 and we'll use the color property, that is white. Okay, white, and what else we want is margin to be set to 0. Yeah, and next thing we want to set is the paragraph property. So for this also we want the color to be white, and we want the font size to change, and let's just say font size to 0.8 rem, that is 0.8 into 16 pixels. So let's just see how it goes. Yeah, this looks really nice now. Now let's design the span, that is the letter I. So for that, let's just say use the span attribute, and we want to set its position to absolute. So for that, position absolute, and we want to set it into the exact middle of the content. So for that, we want top to be, let's just say 44%, and left to be 50%, and transform, translate minus 50%, and again minus 50%. So I guess that would do it. Yeah, our eye is not exactly in the middle of the circle, so for that, let me just see this. Let's just write it down as 43.5%, and then see. I guess now it's exactly in the middle of the circle. So yep. And secondly, we want the color of the eye, that is the span class, to be white, and then I want its font style to be bold. So for that, font weight bold. Next thing I want is to have a bit of an animation in it. So for that, we'll use the transition property, and we'll use color property as well for 0.5 second. So when you unhover it, the color will slowly ease out. Okay, so now the last thing we want is, when we hover the content, our span element should, just its opacity should be turned out to 0, because till now, whenever we hover over it, this span element is visible to us, so we don't want it here. So for that, we'll just change its color to be RGBA, and just 255, again 255, and again 255, and we want to set its opacity to 0. So that's it. Just refresh it, and when you hover over it, the eye vanishes. Yeah, just like that. So this is it, guys. This is the thing what we wanted to design today. And one more thing, guys, I wanted to tell you that if you're really serious about designing something using the clip path property, then I would surely recommend you to go and check on this website called Clippy. There you can choose any shape, and what they actually do, guys, is that let's just say if you choose this pentagon shape, and what they do actually is that they provide you the codings needed for the shapes to be created. So please do check it out. It's a very cool site, and it would ease your work a lot, and I myself have learned a lot from it, guys. So it's a really cool site to use. And I guess this is it from me in this section, guys. We'll love to see you in my next videos. Till the time, goodbye and take care. Thank you.